And go to, all right. So Puppet Rig is this assignment. Wow, people have turned it in. No, I'm just kidding. So Puppet Model is right here. There's the assignment sheet. I'm going to download the Puppet Model. And now that I've downloaded that into my downloads folder, I need to create a project directory. So File, Project Window, Create New, name this one bparks_puppet rig. And I'm going to put this into my desktop. Select Accept. That's going to create my new folder structure. Accept. My new folder structure, which is right here. So I open that up. Go to my scenes folder. Here's my downloads folder. I take my Puppet model. I drag and drop it into my scenes folder. And then I create a new scene and reference my Puppet in. File, create reference, or Control R. And it should be right there. Shouldn't have to look for it. Shouldn't have to click anywhere else. If you're clicking anywhere else, you're doing it wrong. That's right. See, people are starting to learn. All right. Here's our hideous puppet. Looks like an incredibly bad Cookie Monster or something like that, right? Now, I'm going to grab a... You know what? I have my digital tablet. So I'm going to use that. I was going to grab a whiteboard, but that makes it hard for you virtual peeps. So I'm going to not do that. I'm going to do this, which means I may need to Hear me, couldn't see me. Awesome. Sorry. I don't know what happened. Did it cut out at some point? We'll say yes. Okay. Okay. So this is how the character, this is how the layout's going to look, right? That's basically what I was talking about. Was we're going to start with the spine, right? Okay. So I don't know what happened there, but I'm glad we're back. Thank you for letting me know. All right. So I'm going to start on the side view. Okay. Just because it's easier, and it's important that we have our spine in the center of our character, and the side view, just like when you're creating a curve. Yes. Yes. But take notes at the same time. Just like when you're drawing a curve, when you're creating a curve, like I was talking about before with the trophy, everything that you create joint-wise is going to be created on the plane of that camera, okay? So the side camera, the plane is in the dead center of the character, which is where our character, where we want our joints to be, okay? So I'm going to go to this side view. It happens to be the front camera for this character, okay? So I'm going to go to this side view here. Oops. And I'm going to bring that up, zoom that in a little bit. And I'm going to go to my rigging menu right there. And I'm going to go to skeleton, create joints. And I'm going to activate my wireframe on shaded so I can see the detail of my topology, because this whole thing doesn't work well unless you have your topology, you're placing your joints in a good place in your topology, right? I'm going to start with my first joint right here, dead center, like that. I can't see it. Why can't I see it? Because it's hidden by the geometry. There's a little box with a joint in it that is the X-ray joints, or you can go to shading, X-ray joints right there, and it looks like the box looks like this. I'll show you. Why is this going so slowly? It looks like this. Okay, so this is what the box looks like, and that button is right here. See it? And again, I'm just going to say this because, I have a lot to go over. So y'all need to take notes, not like try and keep up. Okay. Y'all need to do this after the fact. Now my joint still looks tiny because my character's huge. So I'm going to make my joints bigger, right? I'm going to go to display, animation, joint size, display, animation, joint size. I'm just going to make this larger. So you can see the joints bigger. It'll probably make it larger after I create a second joint, but I'm just showing you where that is, right? I'll dial it down just a little bit. And then I'm going to continue up through the character. There it goes. You can see that very easily. And you want to try and keep this as fairly straight as possible. go to the sternum, go to the bottom of the neck. Okay, so it's hard to tell where the neck is, but it's about here. Oops, that's a really bad. I can hit Z to undo that. My alignment on that was bad. So I can do that. And I'm going to do one more for the neck right here. And then, as I said in my drawing, I'm going to go to the back of the head, to the top of the head, and out, just like that. Okay? I'm going to hit enter to apply it. And this is what my side view looks like. Okay? And if I go to the front view, just to see what that looks like, my perspective view, I'm going to activate my X-ray joints. It's dead center in the character. And it goes up to the neck, back of the head, top of the head, and out. Just like that. Now, I'm not a huge fan of this sternum joint and where it is. So I'm going to move this up. But if I use the move tool, it moves all of the rest of the joints above it, right? So what I can do is I can hold down D, and that will move the joint without moving the rest of the joints, right? It's a way to reposition joints after you've placed them, right? So that was a little bit too much space, and I wanted this sternum joint to be a little bit higher. So I'm going to do that here. I'm going to do a little bit here, and I'm pretty happy with that. Just hold down D and use your move tool to reposition your joints without moving the rest of your joints. Okay. Cool. Now, for the arm, back to Photoshop, to this hideous drawing. For this, what we're going to do is we're going to create a clavicle. So I'm going to do 3 joints. And my third joint is going to be at the shoulder, okay? And then we're going to create an elbow joint, a wrist joint, go to the end of the hand right there, and out to the end. On the other side, I'm going to do the same thing. And at this point, having your anatomy, you know, placing in proper position for your anatomy is highly important, right? So for this, what we're going to do is this clavicle joint, this first joint, is going to connect to this sternum joint right here. And then it's going to go down to this clavicle joint, back up to the shoulder. Redo that. Like that. Then out to the elbow. Oof. Like that. Out to the wrist. Out to the fingertip. And what I call the terminating joint. Okay. Searching for Sarah Connor. All right. Okay. So this is how we're going to have these joints. We're going to have clavicle 1, clavicle 2, shoulder, elbow, wrist, fingertip, and the terminating joint right there. Okay. So this is going to be done in the front view, not perspective. because again, every joint that gets created on the ground plane, right? I may sit here and place a clavicle joint right here and go like that, but when I place it, it's actually on the ground, okay? So we don't want to do this in the perspective view. We do all of our placement in our orthographic camera views, right? So I'm going to go to my front puppet view. I'm going to activate my X-ray joint and my wireframe unshaded. And in order to connect this to the sternum joint, I can reselect my joint creation tool, which if you hit Y, if you haven't heard this before, if you hit Y, it will reselect the last tool that you used, right? Okay, if it's not there or you've selected something else since then, you can always just go back to skeleton and create joint, right? Okay, so I'm going to select. It may be hard to do. I may have to select it in another view or something like that. Or I may have to go here to my outliner and select it from there, right? So here's my actual sternum, and I'll go in and I'll name all these joints after the fact. Naming in this is vital, okay? So I'm going to go here. I'm going to go up to clavicle, back down a little bit, and then to my proper position in the shoulder. You have to think about, this is the armpit here, and where does the shoulder rotate from, right? So I'm going to put this something like that. I'm going to go out and figure out where my elbow is going to be. So I'm just going to put that right there. Why did it do that? Let's try that again. Not that. There's that. And then the wrist. End of the hand. And out just like that. I'm going to reselect. Well, actually, just looking at this, here's how that looks. Okay. I think everything looks good, right? Now, the reason why I'm not doing the other side is that I can mirror my joints after I've gotten everything done. But one thing that I am missing is the head. I have a couple of joints to deal with the face and the eyeballs. But hey, it's break time. So let's save as dparks_puppet rig _01. And let's go to break. I'm going to stop the recording for now.